Okay, I'm forewarning you right now. This video is going to be super disjointed. Okay, and no pun intended with the with the head missing here with Trump. But this is going to be all over the place. We're going to be looking at this reference here with Kathy Griffin, okay, and this severed head of Trump. So we're going to be looking at this reference here and to the idea of maybe some of the stuff this references back to, okay, and in particular we're going to be looking at references, a couple of references. I'm not going to do all of them, but the name Devereux, it's a personal reference that relates back to me, and also Essex. And again, Essex is another personal reference. Isn't this another little synchronicity with me as well? Okay, so how does this link to and actually today's date as well? Okay, that we're on 25, we're on 225 today, so it's an interesting date for sure. The 25th of February 2025. So how the hell does this relate back to anything, Dan? How are you going to tie this back in now to today's date and all of this stuff? Okay, right. We're going to go to this guy here, and what we need to do, and this guy is Robert Devereux, 2nd Earl of Essex. Okay. So, okay, we've got the name Robert Devereux. Let's look when he's born. The 10th of November. Okay, we're not worrying about the year. 10th of November is our date on the dollar bill. Okay. Now the next thing is, when did he die? Okay, the 25th of February. Okay. Now what's interesting about this is I believe he got locked up in the Tower of London for a little while, and they do have a tower named after him at the Tower of London. And this will become more relevant here in a second. In fact, it's already, you can probably, your cogs are ticking in your brain right now and thinking, oh, tower, Trump Tower, the reference to the tower and to Trump. Okay, yes, right. So we're getting a few little connections to Trump right now, but this 225 date is going to connect to Trump as well, pretty interestingly. So he is executed, and he has his head lopped off. Okay, so he's beheaded. So now this is starting to look like there could be a potential connection here. Okay, with this Devereux character, Robert Devereux, and the relationship obviously is he is the Earl of Essex, a number that we see quite a bit, a number or a name, and again, the 519 in here and the 24. The 519, of course, we're thinking about we seek, we find kind of references. Okay, if you don't know that channel, go over and check it out. We seek, we find for your 195 references, right? But this Essex obviously has that referenced within there, and also the idea of sex is going to be important here with how I'm going to relate this back to a film that I got reminded about by 88 Finished and Porous recently. Just released a video about it, and it's Eyes Wide Shut. Okay, go over to his channel and check that video out. But we're just gonna go all over the place, right? So we've got this date that's in the dollar bill, and we've got today's date here, and we've got the idea of the head getting lopped off. Okay, now what you'll know is that, well, there's several references to go through here. I don't know really what the best way to go through. I think it might be worth showing you just a number jump real quick. And also, we also need to be thinking about a certain thing that's in the dollar bill here. So let's go to this. Let's put a color on here and pull a line through where you fold this for the where it goes through the ear. Okay, in this Donald Trump ear wound. Okay, now this is about where the fold line is. The marker's kind of hidden, okay, and that's roughly where you go through this is roughly the fold line. Now, what you'll note is that where this comes through here, you know, Washington's ear would be here, right? The president's ear. So this line that's shooting through the ear here, and also the eyes, okay, with the eyes wide shut reference, okay, we have a number that is on this side, okay, as you know, as the line shoots through the ear here. This is part of the dam fold, by the way. This particular line here. This makes a concertinaed fold here with the dam. It also references another fold line up here. Let's just put it in real quick. It comes through here, and it gives us our 1 2 2. Okay, sorry again, this is all over the place, but it gives us our 1 berry here, our 2 leaves, and our 2 here, our 1 2 2, that takes us from, if we count the leaves at the top here, 1 2 3 4 5, 5, and we have the same on the other side, the 5. Okay, and don't forget we have the reference to the bunny ears here as well. And so we go from 5/5, we go 122 days, and it takes us to 4/9, which is Labor Day. We will be coming on to this particular date in the year 2028 here in a minute, because it's part of this reference, okay? But if you can follow along with that, okay, so that's all part of this particular fold, and then the other line that's in this particular fold that makes the concertinaed, you fold all these down, and what it does, if you fold on these lines here, right, if you fold those lines down, what it does, it concertinas Washington's head back behind the dam here. This is the dam at the bottom, the shoulders and the water flowing over the dam. And what happens is this thing pops out as a mushroom cloud coming up out of the dam, and Washington is reborn. And obviously 4/9/2028 is Labor Day. Okay, now we'll come back onto 2028 because it's important. But if we backtrack very, very quickly here, get rid of these other lines, we've had a thing that's happened with Donald Trump getting shot in the ear here, and if we count up leaves and berries here, we've got 7 leaves at the top here. Let's count all of these leaves together, 7, and then down the bottom here we have 1 berry and 3 leaves. Okay, so we have 7/13. Donald Trump is getting shot in the ear here. Now in Donnie Darko, Frank gets shot in the eye. You know, one-eyed Willie here. Okay, we're going to talk about a reference in the Goonies here in a minute. Okay, one-eyed Willie. This is the dollar bill. This is a 1 bill. Yeah, Willie. Bill is Willie. One-eyed Willie. Okay. So you've really got to be following along with a lot of my other videos to know, really, to be able to follow this as quickly as I'm going through it and make sense of it. But this is his fold line. This is his 7/13. It ties into the 1/2/2 that then ties into Labor Day, and we're going to tie all this together. But we've got to also remember, what I really want to show you is, what I want to show you is, if we take and fold the dollar bill across where the little owl is, okay. Oh, I've gone too far. Hang on a minute. Let's just, I don't know what you're doing, Dan. Let's go through the little owl. Okay. That's close enough. Pull that side over, it matches up perfectly. The O and the shield match up. Okay. There's our matched up dollar bill. When we take this, we're going to flip it. So rotate 180. And now you can see the numbers appear. I know I've gone through this many, many times before. Let's make that a little bit bigger. But here's our 10. Let's outline the number 10 here. Okay, it's really easy to see, isn't it now? There's our 10 and there's our 11 inside of it. Okay, and this particular 1011 is, I believe, more referencing it's really a reference to the 10th of November. But of course there's two 1011 dates in the year, and the other one, or at least the other obvious one, is October the 11th as well. So we'll be using that date in a minute. But what we have to remember here as well is that before we flip this, we had the numbers with these two portrait frames here. What we really had was the number 25 on one portrait frame because it's referencing the quarter. Okay, and then on the other portrait frame we had the number 1. So this is what's up here. Okay, so this is the number 1, and technically speaking, this is, I don't know if I can write it upside down, that is the number 25. Now notice something, I've just written that upside down, so if you flip that back around the other way, that would say 251. Okay, but when we flip it around this way up with this 1011 up the right way, what you'll notice is it's 152 now. This is again is going to be important here in a minute with a number jump. I just wanted that in the back of people's minds. Okay. Alright, so we've done all that. Yeah, and you can see, actually I could just show you that very, very quickly. If we took this and rotated it 180, you'll see what it flips into. Just to make sure I'm doing that right, 152. Okay, so that was, undo it, and you can see it's 25251, and it flips around to 152. Okay, now I'll show you some number jumps. While that's fresh in our mind, I don't know if I can even find these, but we could just go through all the number jumps right now. What I want to go to, this. So we've got his birthday in there, okay, and then we're going to do some more links to this death date, okay, as well, with all these number jumps up here. Is there anything else I want to show? Oh, while we're just, okay, so forget that 152 for a second. Okay, well, we'll come back to it. I'll remind you of it when we get to that point. Just another couple of things. The Super Bowl 224, which was yesterday, okay, with the score of the Super Bowl. So this could be something interesting. Note that we had the Stargate reference at the Super Bowl with the salute. It could have obviously been several other things that it was relating to, but we've got this date penned out by the Super Bowl, and obviously it's the, you know, the new goat which has been sacrificed here, Mahomes. Okay, and again, are we going to be looking at a sacrificial date today for something? I don't know. There's some Madonna numbers that tie into this date as well. So of course Madonna is obviously somebody that we would be looking at as well. So anyway, wow, I just don't know where to go. Oh, one other thing before we also flip off of this stuff is I want to go to remind everybody as well that on the 26th of Feb 93, again, here's the 93 again, was our kind of first bombing of the World Trade Center down in the parking garage. Yeah, okay, so just put that in the back of your mind that that's tomorrow's date as well. So that's, you know, another interesting little tie-in to the particular, you know, to today's particular date. I guess we're just going to start going through some of these references here. But before I do that, okay, let's just jump through some of this stuff so you can see. This old cover of The Economist, okay, with Judgment, with Donald Trump here. Now notice he's holding the orb and the scepter, yeah? And I believe the Tower card also sometimes has a crown attached to it as well, maybe. Or maybe I was just seeing somebody else's stylized version of it, I don't know. But notice that the tower is next to him here. Notice the this could be a reference to the crown jewels here. Okay, so the tower and him holding the crown jewels in judgment. This is kind of interesting for uh, today's date because, of course, Robert Devereux ended up in the Tower of London, and they named. I believe there is a tower named Devereux Tower there. So this reference with Donald Trump, and of course, what do they have at the Tower of London? They have the crown jewels there. Yeah, that's where they keep the crown jewels. Okay, so I don't know if there's anything else. We could look at the layout, and you could see that I've got my cursor here. Number 15 is Devereux Tower. Okay, so there is a tower named for that whole thing that happened there. Okay, so this reference with Donald Trump and the tower, and obviously, again, do I have a picture of his? I'm trying to think of something like this, like Trump Tower. Yeah. So this becomes kind of interesting. We had the reference with the one in, was it Vegas, where we had the oh, and look, here we go. Let's look at this one. This is probably where I saw it. Here's the crown here, and here's the tower card, and people falling from the tower, and there's the bolt of lightning, maybe the thing on fire, towering inferno, and the bolt of lightning hitting the clock tower. Oh dear. So anyway, Trump Tower, this connection with the tower. Okay. And Babylon and all the rest of it, anyway, so interesting connections, and obviously, seeing some of these other things that are down here as well, and I could talk about a lot of these things actually, but I'm not going. All right. So this reference to the crown jewels, the Tower of London, okay, and again this reference back to Devereux, okay, Robert Devereux and Essex, okay. Now there's also another reference with Robert Devereux, and he was actually sent, and kind of the thing that kicked it all off was he was sent to sort out Ireland, right? Take charge of Ireland, and he failed at that. In fact, one isn't sure why he failed at it, whether he was just bad at fighting the Irish, or whether fighting the Irish again, fighting Irish. So this is another reference with Donald Trump and the whole ear wound thing, with, the boxing match with Mike Tyson and the ear, Evander Holyfield's ear being removed. And again, Donald Trump coming up and shouting, fight, 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 with the fist pump, the fighting Irish, Notre Dame burning. Okay. All this stuff ties together. The Twin Towers burning, fighting Irish, all the references to Boxing Day and the fighting Irish in Back to the Future. And again, his ear wound happens on, numbers that relate back to St. Patrick's Day. Okay, and the reference to the snake, the year of the snake. So, oh dear. I forgot where I was going with this now. I think we should probably just do some of these. Oh, Robert Devereux. What was I going to say about? I'll tell you, there's a couple other little things in here as well. Oh, so anyway, yeah, his poor campaign in Ireland during the 9 Years' War, trying to sort Ireland out. Did he end up going over there and deciding, oh, maybe we shouldn't be fighting these people? Or was he just really bad? I don't know, Maybe he had a change of heart when he got over there and said, hang on a minute, this ain't right, we're going to go back and eventually he um, gets to a point where he wants to try and I don't know take um, well, I don't want it to say. I don't know if she necessarily wants to kill the queen, but he wants to at least there's some kind of coup going, some kind of coup arranged where he's going to try and uh, take over, so to speak. Um, and of course, his what would you call it? His residence, I guess, is Essex House. So there's another reference we're going to come on to as well. And there's one other story in here, which is about a ring that Essex Rebellion, Essex House. Anyway, where's the ring story? The Essex ring. Anyway, basically, Queen Elizabeth I. This is interesting. We're dealing with the original Queen Elizabeth, and she basically gives him a ring and says, "If you're ever in trouble, send to me." And so, at the end of the day, when he was kind of in trouble and he sent the ring originally, somehow it didn't make it to her. Somebody that was supposed to give the ring over, and I think it was it the Countess of Nottingham? She kept the ring because her husband was an enemy of Essex. Okay, but so there's this relationship. There's a deep relationship between Elizabeth and him, and he doesn't get the ring to her, and then consequently he gets his head chopped off. Right? Yada yada yada. You can go to the actual the Wikipedia and read all this stuff. What else is here? There is a play or a opera. It's an opera, Roberto Devereux as well. So that's kind of interesting. But we don't need to get into all of this stuff, okay? But this thing with the ring is kind of interesting because there's a little reference to this, and we're going to talk about Eyes Wide Shut real quickly, okay? Because there's several little references in this film, and again, go see 88 Finis and Porus just put a video out about it. There's several little number jumps that involve the release date here, and one of the release dates, okay, was actually the 13th of July. So we have this reference to the 13th of July, okay, and so again, we're back to the ear wound here, okay. I really need to sit and do an actual proper video on what is going on in Eyes Wide Shut. But to break it into a nutshell, and it's very similar to The Shining, and there's elements of, you'll see elements of The Shining in Eyes Wide Shut, like when Mandy has her overdose, Amanda or Mandy, she is in the bathroom, okay, just like we see the whore in room 237, okay, and so there's a lot of little parallels, and the number jumps tie in, and so when I go through it, I'm obviously not going to come back to this, but what we're dealing with is like in The Shining, we're dealing with, there's a change with Jack in The Shining, and it's the change of where we go into him actually writing his story. Yeah, so we actually go into the story during the film that he's writing, okay, and it's a similar thing that happens in Eyes Wide Shut, is that the masked ball orgy thing, okay, the secret society party is like a dream state, is like a fictional reference going into the fiction, okay, which is referencing back to the previous party um, that they were at with the, where he ends up going and dealing with the OD'd girl in the bathroom, okay, and the parallels are there, whatever his name, I can't remember the guy's name. Let's go down. Who is he? I can't remember the guy's name now. Victor. Oh, it was right. Yeah, Victor. Anyway, Victor, whose party it is essentially the same character as what they call him, Red Cloak down here. Yeah. Okay. If you go to Rob Ager's channel, okay, he does a lot of and it's collative. I think it's collative learning. He's got a lot of stuff on Kubrick films. Okay, I've gleaned a lot of information from him over the years out of his, decodes. Now, I don't come to the same conclusions as he comes to in most parts, but this idea of Red Cloak around Christmas, yeah, and the idea of the lie that we're told as children with our eyes are not quite fully opened yet, yeah. The Santa Claus routine, Father Christmas, Red Cloak, okay. And again, this is the same. This is the same character essentially, okay. And again, when we move into the real world, we've got the same illusion going on with the fictional system that we operate in, which is the world around us, which is, highly represented with the legal system. Okay, so that party there, the masked balls, everybody in the legal system is wearing a mask, by the way. Okay, yeah, that is what a person is, a persona is, that mask that you wear, in a play. Okay, so this idea of the masquerade ball, the masked ball there is, that's alluding to the idea of being in the metaphysical, being in that system that is operated by the elites. Essentially, it's a control system that controls everybody. But that's what he's referencing there. Okay. But what that thing is, in essence, what the legal system is, in essence, is a copy of the physical world, just written down in fiction. Okay, that's what it is. That's why the masked ball is essentially an echo of the earlier party that Tom and Nicole are at. Okay, so you can go through the whole thing, and the reference to Christmas, the idea of going into the metaphysical, and the idea of being reborn out of the metaphysical. Death is going in, yeah, the death of the sun, and then being reborn, yeah. The new year, okay, the new sun, okay. So all these ideas that are around this thing are very interesting. I'm going to mention just a couple more things. I really should do a whole video on it because there's so many things to reference in the film. It's just so loaded. It's just absolutely loaded. But unfortunately, I could do with a version of it being on YouTube, so that I can get all the scenes that I need to go through. But it probably isn't going to happen. But anyway, two things to mention. So with these references, I'll tell you one thing as well. So in the bathroom scene with the overdosed girl, okay, who is, let's find her here. Who are we dealing with? Mandy. So this would be the overdosed version of the girl, because they've got two different girls playing the same girl as well, which again is important, because this is Julianne Davis. Anyway, she's playing the overdose girl. Notice the birthday, yeah. 9/26. This ties in with people like Linda Hamilton, yeah, in Terminator, her birthday. Olivia Newton-John. So it's kind of interesting, okay. And so the idea of the, because obviously Olivia Newton-John, I think, is more of a goddess symbol. Linda Hamilton plays the mother of John Connor, JC. Yeah, so the mother symbolism. And then in the orgy, the masked ball. Okay, this is the Abigail Good plays the mysterious woman, and I'm assuming this is the right woman. But anyway, Abigail Good. Okay, check it out. 30th of September. What are the chances that we have the Hoover Dam's birthday in here? Okay, so this is really interesting because she essentially sacrifices herself so that Tom, or what the hell his name is in the film, can go free. Okay, so there's a sacrificial thing that happens there. 30th of September, the Hoover Dam, and there is a sacrifice in the film. She makes a sacrifice and ends up dead, so to speak, in the film. Okay, so let's go back again because there's a couple of other interesting things here. Cate Blanchett does the voiceover for her in the film, and again, we've got a reference here that we could tie this back to Notre Dame if we read that. If we change that to a 5 and flip the numbers round, we could read. If we said May 14th, we could say 1415 backwards. Okay, so we could tie that in, but really importantly, she is portraying one of her big films is the portrayal of Elizabeth I in Elizabeth. Okay, and again, Elizabeth I is the guy who chops off the gal that chops off Devereux's head. And check out again the hair. Check the hair. Check this face, and then check out. I'm not saying it's I wouldn't say it's a perfect match or anything, but look, look at the. I don't know. Just look at Kathy. I mean, just look at her, and then where the hell were we at? Gosh, where were we at? I can't remember now. And then look with the kind of red hair and the white. But I mean, I don't know. That might be a reach for people, but again, whatever. Anyway, we've got her doing the voice, which I thought was interesting as well. Obviously, there's a ton of other films that we can probably go to and reference her. Two more things. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Oh, Bill Harford. Okay. I don't know what I'd get from Harford. It would have been kind of interesting to be Hartford. Okay, I could have got the. That probably is a derivative of Hartford. You could have got in a tie back. Oh, bloody hell! You could have got a tie back with the dough and the buck with Hartford. Obviously Bill, the dollar bill. But Tom Cruise's birthday. Let's just look at it real quick because we're going to do a number jump with it. 3rd of July. I believe Back to the Future was released on the 3rd of July. And his birthday is 62. But they go one step further here with the twinism in this film. Okay, because there's another character in here that I wouldn't say he looks exactly like Tom Cruise, but he's a similar looking guy. And with the name Thomas again, Thomas Gibson. You've probably seen him in Criminal Minds and Dharma and Greg. And he's got exactly the same birthday, born on exactly the same day. So you couldn't reference. There's probably other connections in here, but you couldn't reference the twinism better than having two people born on the same day. Okay. What else to say in here? Was there any other interesting dates? Oh yeah, we had Faye Masterson. Okay, with the actual burning of the tower. Okay, Notre Dame. So there's lots and lots of little references in here, lots and lots. And then of course this dude, the pianist, has the day before date to today. Okay, which I also thought was interesting. Okay, so lots of interesting stuff. I don't know if there's anybody else that was particularly interesting. Oh, I'll tell you one other interesting thing is the guy that does play Red Cloak is the same guy that is Lord Bullingdon in Barry Lyndon. Okay, so he's kind of the abused child in Barry Lyndon, and then he actually ends up shooting Barry Lyndon in the, I think it's a leg he shoots him in the end. So this idea of somebody getting shot, and also the death date, his death date, Matthew Perry's birthday, flip it, Madonna's birthday. Okay, 3 days apart. Okay, anyway. So we've got all these interesting things going on in here. You know, essentially, this gal is this gal. Okay. Let's do the number jumps. Okay, let's do the number jumps. And then I don't know what we'll do. I'll go through all these as well. I think actually, before we do the number jumps, let's just go through some of the other references that are in other films. So the first one I want to reference is Back to the Future. Obviously the 7/3 release date of Back to the Future. I'm pretty sure it's 7/3. And in Back to the Future, when after Marty's crashed into after he's crashed into the Assembly of Christ with John Crump, JC, okay, and we had that reference with the who am I going to say? The Elon Musk Cybertruck at the Trump Tower, okay, that exploded right outside the doors, like that whole scene with because the Cybertruck is the reference to the DeLorean, okay, and Elon Musk is the mad scientist, just like Doc, and Trump is paying Marty in certain elements of the film, and Trump is biffing other elements of the film, okay. And so, again, when getting on to this point, this is the Essex Theatre that appears in the background there, okay, and again, the Earl of Essex, and then we've got Orgy American Style. Orgy, yes, the orgy that Tom Cruise goes to in Eyes Wide Shut, yeah? So this connection here, we've got the 24 hours here, the 24, which is what we just had yesterday, okay, 224. So, super duper interesting, yeah? 224, 22, 100 hours is 10, which is a completion number, 10 is a completion number, 24, again, 24 hours is a completion number, okay? So, secular completion numbers, okay? And we also got the 224, well, at the top of the dollar bill, you've got those two bunny ears on each side, which when folded together, these two bunny ears that are down here, the two bunny ears that are down here, okay, one there, one there, and one there, and one there. The two bunny ears is a 2 and a 2, and of course 2, 2, 4. Reduce that 2, 2, 4. It's kind of nice. It's real simple, but anyway. So this I wanted to mention, and there's obviously there's some interesting numbers that we'll look at here in a minute that also tie kind of close into this scene as well. And then again, with the idea of the sex orgy thing going on, was the stuff with the porno gal Stormy Daniels and Trump, and the 317, her birthday. Again, 713 in reverse. Okay, the ear wound. Okay, are we seeing a connection here? Okay, and then what else have we got? Devereaux reference. Let's do a couple of Devereaux references. Universal Soldier. The start of this film is they start this thing out with a hostage situation at the Hoover Dam. Okay, Jean-Claude Van Damme is the star. We've got Dolph Lundgren as well in this. And again, Dolph Lundgren is a 311 birthday. Jean-Claude Van Damme is 1018, so the 118. Interesting birthdays and everything, but Jean-Claude Van Damme is playing Luc Devereaux in this film. Okay. Again, do we have that released? I don't know if we have. No, that's not one of the release dates for Eyes Wide Shut, but it's a 1/7 reference, which is kind of, it's relevant. Okay. And then some of the other numbers that show up in here, like he's playing GR44, Lundgren's 1-3, and he's Sergeant Scott, Andrew the Great Scott, 311, and Dolph's actual birthday is the 3rd of November, so 311, 311, 13. And the other number we get given is 76, which is also going to be important in a minute as well. Oh, so you go around in circles. So we've got this reference to Devereaux here, and then here we go. Let's go to the Goonies now. One-Eyed Willie. Remember, the dollar bill is One-Eyed Willie, and the One-Eyed Willie is the phallic symbolism. The one eye and the willy combining as well is going into the system. Yada yada yada. What's interesting is Corey Feldman's playing Clark Mouth Devereaux. Okay, the mouth is the Vesica Pisces as well. It's just another version of the female genitalia as well. Okay, this is a personal reference to me, these two names. Also Corey Feldman. Let's just check him out. Oh look, July 16th, one of the release dates for Eyes Wide Shut, I believe, if I'm getting my stuff right. Can't remember now. Anyway, who else we got here? What other films? It's just in tons of films. I'm just picking out a few that just sprung to mind. We're on Bruce Greenwood here. Why are we on that? Because of this film, Double Jeopardy. Okay. And the baddie guy in this film is essentially his name is Nick Parsons, which is another personal reference for me. And he changes his name to Jonathan Devereaux. Okay. Again, if we look at Bruce Greenwood, let's look at his birthday. It's a 128. This will become important in a minute, or 812 or 128. That numerology we'll be looking at that numerology in a minute. Okay. So this is the baddie dude. Okay. And then there's other films that I haven't even got up here now, like The November Man with Pierce Brosnan. He's playing I can't remember what his first name is in that. He's playing a Devereaux anyway. Can't remember what his first name was now. Let's just go and look real quickly at some of the gematria. So you can see Devereux, the 104 with the clock tower. And there's several different ways of spelling Devereux as well. So we've got Robert Devereux 182 here. Notice that the second Earl of Essex, the title, 182 as well, 74, 74 matching up. 254 with 911. You can go through these numbers. And then obviously the full title, Robert Devereux, second Earl of Essex, is 331. Again, we had that, Christopher Walken birthday. Who else? Oh, Ewan McGregor, train spotting with the 62. This will be important. And again, with a number jump in a minute from Christmas. 331 was Easter last year. We're going to be looking at Easter this year, which happens to be the 20th of, read this number backwards, the 20th of April. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with these numbers that you can kind of pick and choose what you want to look at. So let's start doing some of these. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me just one more reference. This is Essex House in New York City, and this is in the backdrop in Home Alone 2. Okay, and there's several references to Hoover in all of these Home Alone films. And again, that film is a Chris Columbus film. Okay, and he's got I want to say in this film there's also a reference to Devereux in this film as well, Adventures in Babysitting. And that's got Leah, Thompson from Thompson from Back to the Future in it. But all of these films have all got there's lots of Devereux references in his films, and it may be due to the fact that he's actually married to a Devereux. Note the September the 10th birthday as well, same as Guy Ritchie. So there's connection back to Madonna, and obviously Eyes Wide Shut again. Didn't they have a date for Eyes Wide Shut? Let's just whiz back up here. September the 10th in the United Kingdom. Okay, and note the 159 in here as well. Was there any other interesting numbers? I don't know, but we're going to look at this the 16th. We'll go through some of these number jumps and then we'll call it a day on the video. I'm sorry it's all over the place. Oh, here's I don't know where I put this in a video, but there is a variant of the Porsche 911, the turbo version of the 911, and I think it might have a little bit wider, slightly different chassis, maybe might be a little bit wider or something, but it looks just like a 911, but it's a 930. Yeah, Hoover Dam numbers again. Oh dear, where do I put it in a video? I don't know. We've talked about Porsche so many times, and that again is something that's been brought to light really by 88 Finister Porsche. It's really the guy that shone a light on all these Porsche references, the 911 Porsche references in films. Okay, let's go through these number jumps. 814 through. The reason why I'm picking 814, we're going to see another 814 reference in a minute, but 814 is that hidden date that's 28 days earlier than 911. So put that in the back of your mind, because 28 days earlier is going to be part of this. We're going to look at some numbers that come up here with the 28 now. Okay, so this is well important because this is 28 days. This is like the hidden birthday. Remember, 1.48 days is the difference between an Earth year and a Pluto year. Okay, that's the day difference. Okay, and notice that it's 195 days through to this particular day today. Okay, 6 months 11 days. Okay, so we'll make our way through these now. So the release of Back to the Future, Tom Cruise's birthday. Look where we're at when we come through to this particular day. Yeah, room 237. Yeah, this is where he shows up to help what's his name in the bathroom with the ODing and you could argue that he's there as the kind of savior for Mandy at that point, to check that she's all right. Notice the 722, the pi numbers here, Lucas numbers as well. Okay, room 237. So this reference of he's in the bathroom in that scene, saving her. Yeah, room 237. So this is well interesting as well. And don't forget, in the film, he's asked to remove his mask. Yeah, the removal of the head again, the mask. Okay, coming out of the fiction, being reborn, and she saves him. Okay, what else we got here? 9/11 through to 220 to 225. Look at this. The 167 was one of the release dates for the film, the 16th of July. Okay, so this is again, I mean, it's pretty interesting. Then what have we got? 713, the actual jump through to this particular day. I'll unclick because 227 again is important with pi. Okay, and then put that on, and you can get your 228 numbers now, which is we're going to get into the 228 numbers, okay, and why this is important with Donald Trump. But that's 228 from the ear wound through. Okay, now remember on the podium, on the Donald Trump podium, I'll show you this now. This text Trump to 88022. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind as well. Okay, where did we get to? Because this is well important. This is what's coming up. So keep that in the back of your mind. I don't know what this really means. Whether we're going to see something with Donald Trump. Like I said, there's some Madonna connection to this. The Stargate release date 10/28. Again, the 28. This shows up on the clocks in Back to the Future. Yeah, the flip clocks. Okay, and you could potentially also delete the 10 and the 12 as they are start over points. Yeah, 10 is essentially a 0 and 12 is also a 0. Okay, so you could just be they could just be referencing 28 in that scene as well. Okay, well, there's two scenes with the flip clocks. Okay, the alarm clock in Back to the Future, and here we go with the 28. Okay, in Stargate. Okay, or the 10/28. And again, remember, name for the 8th month, so 828. Dear oh dear. Just it's around in circles. Okay, I've got Diana's birthday in here. No, I don't have Diana's birthday. No, this is the start. This is our mirror date that was tied into Diana's birthday. Okay, at the start of the year, which was the midpoint between two lots of our eclipse dates. Okay, and the eclipse dates were all dealing with the number 27. Okay, and this was the midpoint. And when Trump went back into office, Diana was something like, from her death date to him going back into the temple, into the White House, which is Diana, it was 10,004 days. So we had the clock tower number when he went back into the clock tower. And from this particular date, we've got 49 days, which is, well, again, this is really interesting because we're going to talk about the 4/9 here in just a second when we get further up here. Okay, and also 1/7 is also on the dollar bill. It's on the other side to the it's on the shield side. Let me show you it. It's on this. You can't really see it here. Hang on, undo all this crap. Sorry, excuse my French, but actually we can see it right here. I know we can't undo. We can see it right here. Okay, so if we just look at these numbers here, we've got 1 berry and 7 leaves. Okay, so we've got 1/7 referenced on this side of the dollar bill, and just a standard old 7 over here as well. Anyway, let's get off this second, right? So this is important. Keep going from the Hoover Dam through. Now you can see this reference with the 148 again, the 1.48 days difference in Pluto to Earth, the 9:30. Oh, and by the way, the day of the year, before I forget, because I've already forgotten. Oh, one thing to reference is the 5th of November, when Doc invents time travel, when Trump got back in, so to speak, is 309, and the 56th day of the year. Obviously, 5-6 also references the Twin Towers. We'll probably go to the chart of rain in a minute. I'll show you why. But this is the other side of the year too. So 511 is the other side of the year to February the 25th. Okay. So here's our days left in the year. 30th of September reference right there. Okay. So again, really important. The fact that it's 25-25, I mean it's 225-225 this year is also, I think, fairly significant as well. Like a double reference to it. What we got here? Yep. So we've done that one. We've done the 49 days now. Because this is going to be important as well with the idea of birth again, and Diana giving birth. And here we go. I think we already did this one, September the, but was 167 days. Okay, so that was on Eyes Wide Shut. And if we drop a day, where we get to Guy Ritchie's birthday and Chris Columbus' birthday again, and there's a ton of 9-1 references. Okay, so you can do that numerology there as well, and obviously that's St. Giles's Day as well, 9-1, which is another important reference back for me for the references back to the fairground. Anyway, and obviously the most important thing with the fairground is the reference to the merry-go-round. Okay, merry-go-round, the end and the beginning of the cycle with Mary. Yeah, has the horses on it. Yeah, the horse. Okay, 168, Madonna's birthday. So we could see something with Madonna potentially as well, because there isn't. I think there are a couple more references to Madonna with this particular date I've talked about before. Oh, this was interesting. This is Kathy Griffin's birthday through to Easter, and it happens to be 167 as well, the same as like 9/11 through to this particular date. So this is Easter. This is going to be Easter this year, 420. So that is again pretty interesting with the idea that we've just had the 24th as well. What else we got here, Dan? Trump's birthday through to Easter. Check it out. Yeah, it's 288 days. Okay. So again with the 28. One thing, I've got it up here somewhere. 28 is a perfect number. So this is when Kathy Griffin released that. I think the picture or the video, whatever it was. This was the release date that I got. I think it was in Wikipedia actually. Let's just look in Wikipedia. Here it is, a depiction of it on May the 30th. Griffin posted a video of herself holding the mast stylized ever head of US president. Okay, so yes, where was I at? Can't remember now. Here somewhere. Here. No, here. 28. I thought, blooming hell. When I initially saw that, I thought, well, there's something to this whole story, So 5/30, 2017 through to today's date, 28/28. Something to it, We've done all that stuff. We've already done that. I thought I'd better do the start of the Madonna tour. There's so many references to this particular date, the 14th of October. It's also the other eclipse date. This doesn't. The two other eclipses tie in with the number 27, but this eclipse ties in with the number 444, I guess, really, which is interesting again with that tie back with um, Jean-Claude Van Damme in Universal Soldier. But again, here's the 134 that is on the sign as Marty witnesses Doc getting shot. I don't know, but maybe Elon Musk will get shot. Maybe, or maybe there'll be some kind of attempt on Elon Musk now or something daft, you know. But anyway, this is the start of Lucas numbers here. Yeah, we just put a 2 in front of here. It's 2134. So this is an interesting. This is significant, and again with the 411, with again Kathy Griffin's birthday, and again on the we have the CRM 114. We have the Hoover Dam coordinates with the 114. She's wearing the Virgin Mary, like Lake Mead, the bathtub. Oh, the severed head, the head popping out, giving birth to the head first, yeah, with the blood on the head. I mean, it could be referencing the birth of Donald Trump, yeah, his head being pulled out of the metaphysical, yeah, whereas the rest of his body still inside the dam, yeah, it's inside the metaphysical, it's the invisible man. You can't see the rest of that because it's inside the dam. Okay, so that, you know, it's obviously, well, maybe it's just happened that way, or maybe it's the behind the scenes people referencing this stuff. Okay, here's something that's very, very interesting. This ties back into the start of the video with the number jump that takes us to 9-4. And I must also mention this, is that in that dollar bill number jump that goes from 9/11, so you need to be up on my number jumps here, but the one that goes from 9/11 and goes 155 days through to 213, if you do that in reverse and go back from 9/11 155 days, so instead of getting to February the 13th, you are going to get to the 9th of April. You're going to get to another 4/9 date. So 4/9 is super duper important. But from Donald Trump's birthday, yeah, through to 1946, through to 9/4 in 2028, 28 again, he's going to be 30,000 years and 33 days old. Fascinating. And he'll be 82 years and 82 days old. So this is really interesting with that 2828 that we just saw with the head thing. Okay. Again, if we go from a release date of Eyes Wide Shut, the 16th of July, we're just going from last year. Look at this. It is 225 days through to 225 if we do the inclusive date, and obviously if we click that off, we've got the 224, which obviously was tying into yesterday. And don't forget, these are like, if we just put a 1 in front of these numbers, we've got Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We're just missing the number 1 in front. Okay, so that's important to remember that. Okay, what else we got here? Tom Cruise's birthday, and his 1962 through to 224 is 22882 days. So this again, this is I think this is, boy, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? If we jump one day, obviously this has buggered it up here, but we do get the room 237 reference. So very fascinating. He's 62 years old, which again is very important, because if we look at from Christmas, that date from with the 1 on it now, 225, through to this particular day is 62 days. Yeah, Madonna, train, dollar, tank, 62s. Super duper important. Okay. Here's the 152. So that was with the quarter reference that's in the dollar bill. When we flip that over, look where we're coming from. Okay. the date of who's the actress that was playing her? I can't remember now. The Amanda birthday actress date. Okay, 9/26 is 152. Yeah, but it's just super fascinating through to today's date. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's super fascinating. We're back at the gematria. We don't really need that. Let's go on to the. What we got here? Oh, this is an important date because this is referenced in Home Alone with a reference back to Hoover and the hotel, and of course Hoover dies. This is Herbert Hoover talking about now. Herbert Hoover's death date here, and Hoover dies in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, I think that's where he dies, which is pretty. They kind of hint to it in Home Alone 2 through the reference of the hotel that Macaulay's staying at, right? But again, this numerology with Trump coming into office, and also Kamala essentially at the end of her, it wasn't really her reign, but the end of Kamala as well, and that's her birthday. Snoop Dogg, and don't forget he's doing the Doge thing now with the dog, the doggy, the Snoop Doggy. He's snooping into all of the goings on behind the scenes in the government. He's snooping doggy Doge style behind the scenes. 10/20, and again the Waldorf as well. Remember, walled off is what the Hoover Dam is. It's walling off us from reality. Yeah. So walled off is another important. Anyway, 128. The 128. Okay. Oh dear, what else we got? Oh, and I did a jump from 10/11. This is the other 10/11, and it's 137 days. Our ear wound through to this particular date. So that gives us our ear wound. We're using the October date rather than the. Let's go to it. Rather than this particular date. And if we do use that particular date, which is interesting, we've got the 107, which also is up in that top corner. Yeah. When we move this over, that 17 is part of this that comes over. This comes over, and we've got that 17 reference there. I don't know. I mean, it's super duper interesting. All these little references. So that's it. That's the Earl of Essex done. Oh dear, that is probably a long video, and I've probably forgotten a bunch of stuff as well. I'm trying to think what else I've forgotten out of there. I mean, there's other Earls of Essex as well that we could have gone through. I don't think there was anything. Let's just whiz up here real quick. Let's look at the first Earl. 16th of September, 22nd of September. Let's get back. Let's look at the next one, which again is another Robert, the third Earl of Essex. 111 and the 14th of September. So again, some kind of interesting numbers with him. I don't think there's anything really else to say about it, to be quite honest. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm tired now. Stayed up way too late doing this. Anyway, so I'll just be on the lookout for maybe a Blackadder reference tomorrow. A Blackadder reference with Donald Trump, or something to do with Elon even, or maybe a Madonna reference, or maybe all hell will break loose tomorrow. I don't know. But again, the idea of the SX, um, it's kind of interesting, isn't it, with the sex orgy and the, you know, the whole eyes wide shut thing. Um, but you know, I think that's the reference in that film. It's you know, he references Christmas. He's referencing the lie, the fiction that we go into as children, and we're still children now because we still don't actually have our eyes open, even though our eyes are wide shut, really, because they're not aware. We're not really aware of how that system works, how the legal system works, and that's what enslaves us. That's what puts us in the dam. You see, that's the thing that you need to become aware of, and ergo, then you can be free. Okay. Anyway, all right. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on another one soon. All right. Cheers. All right, bye.